Hello and welcome to the Bed Hoppers podcast. My name is Mr. H.
I'm Mrs. H.
Thank you for joining us today. We have got a fabulous interview for you to listen to in just a moment.
Cool.
But first, we bring you these messages. Well, actually, we haven't really prepared any messages, but we can give you some general life updates, right?
Let's do that.
So, first up, the Thrifty Shades of Grey event coming up on the 20th of December.
So
we've only got 4 free tickets left. So if you're a member of our Discord community, if you're a member of our Patreon, or if you're a member of the Social Club community. See what I did there? The South Coast Social Club community, whatever they're called, right?
Yeah.
Them lot. You'll know who they are if you're in them, probably, one assumes. Then you can get free tickets now.
Only 4 of them, though.
Only 4 of them available. So they may have gone by the time this comes out.
And they're free.
And they're free. Perfectly possible. So, and then it is a sold out event. If that's not that we've sold tickets.
No.
Given out event. We are
at capacity.
Yes, we have reached the maximum number of people that can come along to that event free. Well, and paid, in fact. You can offer to pay us, but we still can't.
We'll say no.
Yes.
Your money is no good here.
Yes. You will
this is a free event.
These aren't the pounds you're looking for.
Exactly.
So we'll do that. So that's happening. Med update. What's happening with the meds?
Right. Okay. I have not made any progress yet, but...
Should we call this the menopause section?
Oh, God. Yeah, fine. I would love to pause the menopause right now, I have to say.
Mm-hmm.
So the update is I don't have any progress, but I do have a decision.
Ooh.
Which I have reached because I've made an executive decision of my own health.
Okay.
That the current med mix is worse.
Okay.
It's absolutely worse than I was before. So I think that little trial is over and I'm waiting to be weaned off said medication because you can't just stop it.
No, that would be bad.
Got to be reduced gradually and I've got to come off it again. But I have made a decision that's not right for me.
Okay.
And I am going to potentially go down a private route and seek out this androfem, I think. Or I'm going to find out more about it.
There we go.
Because I think testosterone is probably the answer, the only answer. But I know there has to be a better way than the side effects I had with the previous lot.
Okay.
So that's my decision. And things are worse than they ever were. And to the point where I think we had really frank conversation, didn't we, about what a disparity there is with, our kind of drives generally.
Well, I think these new meds, what we're finding is that they are giving you neither highs nor lows, generally speaking. They've flattened out.
They give me
your
nothing.
Emotion. Yeah.
I just don't care anymore.
Which is strangely ironic as you're wearing a Kurt Cobain pretty much outfit at the moment. Wearing my costume cardigan that you've stolen, a stripy t-shirt, some ripped jeans, and you had some chucks on.
So I did. But I think the problem with this is it's taken away my ability to actually feel an emotion about what I'm not feeling, if that makes sense. So I actually don't care anymore, which is not good because before I did at least care about the fact that I was not where I wanted to be. Whereas now I'm just and
I think
no, don't care.
It makes it even harder for you to climax at the moment. So kind of you're not worried about it.
Not only am I not worried or caring enough to try, when I do try, it's like,
even harder.
Told you.
Yeah. So it's it's an interesting one. And I think, we've been to an event this week.
Yeah.
And that was really good fun. And we managed to throw ourselves into it a bit, possibly me a little bit too much.
But I was neither excited nor nervous.
Yeah.
Because I felt nothing.
You're clearly part of Generation
I'm devoid
X.
of any emotion now, which, whilst I accept it's taken away my ability to be anxious and worried about something, it's also, I don't feel anything. No joy, no nothing, just flat.
Just flatness. And I think that's something that we really need to tackle. So that's what we're on at the moment.
Feeling like that.
We are trying to sort that out and obviously waiting to speak to a doctor again about all that sort of stuff so we can proceed. So that's the current med update.
Yeah.
But we did go to a sexy play event and we had some fun.
You definitely had some drinks.
I may have, my pre-drink game may have been
too strong. Just like the drinks.
And too powerful.
Too powerful.
To even, yeah.
Oh, I like how you're putting these majestic words in. Like, if they were just too powerful.
They were too powerful for me to be able to contain.
Wasn't just you an idiot then and drinking too much?
I mean, yes. I think I pushed it to the line. I didn't jump over the line.
Oh, I don't know. You put your foot over it a bit and then brought it back and put it over again.
But I didn't fully fall over the other side. So I think I survived, but not in the best possible way. So for anyone that encountered me on Saturday or whatever night it was, then either well done for dealing with me.
We're very sorry.
I'm sorry, yeah, but one of the two.
But who gave you a hickey?
Well, I don't know. This is the thing.
Someone gave you a hickey.
If you're listening to this show and you gave me the hickey, then please tell me just so I know. That would be nice to know that.
We don't know. You don't know.
No one knows. But we then had an adventure with a sexy lady.
We did.
And that was all fine. That was all good.
Yeah.
That was all very sexy. And we watched one of your fave sexy naughty films.
Yeah,
The Dreamers.
Dreamers.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
And if you've not seen that, I recommend you sort of seek it out. It's kind of bohemian to the most degree possible, really. Very French. Yeah.
Very French, very bohemian.
Yeah. So it was fun. So we watched a bit of a film and then we had some sexy playtimes.
Yeah.
And we had some cheese and wine as well.
So, life's not all bad.
Yeah. I mean,
But I'm having to find it and struggle to get to it.
I think part of it is creating, there's a lot more work to get you into a comfortable environment.
Yeah.
And I think when you're in that space, it's almost like nobody move or do anything different or no coitus interruptus. Just keep going with what we're doing and everything will be fine. But I think it's just one of those things where we're still sort of finding out where these new meds have taken you and kind of how your body's reacting to them. So there is a bit of that. But at the best of times, you kind of often have to be in the right space to climax.
Yeah,
so
no, I agree.
There has been a learning curve. So I think there's been a bit of that. But the cool thing is that we have had some sexy fun. We've had some fun little adventures and we're sort of looking forward to more. We've got some really busy weeks ahead. Yeah,
we definitely have lots going on. And I still like the fact that we're super busy and socially sort of going out and doing all the nice things. But my default setting would absolutely be not wallow because, I don't feel sad enough to wallow, but do nothing.
Yeah.
I just don't really want to do anything, but I don't feel unhappy about that. I just feel like, okay.
Worryingly, this
is my lot in life now.
Well, the only thing that you do want to do is watch new seasons of Dexter.
Oh, so yeah, I am. That's true.
It slightly concerns me that you're feeling flat and coming across slightly serial killer-like. So, and where you're taking notes is also possibly disturbing.
I think it's because I'm in a safe place. I'm at home.
With
I'm in
a serial
pajamas.
Killer.
No, I'm at home in my pajamas in my house with you, and you ground me. You're my constant, and the only thing that makes me happy is you.
Oh,
which is both lovely and I mean, come on.
I don't think that's strictly true
it's
because
not true, but it's how I feel some of the time.
Yeah, I think you've had some really nice times with friends.
Yeah, of course.
And I think you've been really happy to see them, and that's been quite nice. But I think your default when you get home and you're tired, and when you're not sort of going out on a limb to do something fun, is like, let's just sit down and pajama up and watch the shit out of the television. I think
that's my dopamine fix. That's the only way I kind of go, all right, this has re-centered me a bit.
We'll come back to all of this because we've got an interview to play in just a moment.
Yeah.
But what I really wanted to stress is that we are looking at the med situation. We are trying to help you through it and manage it.
I want a solution. I don't want to feel like this. So
I agree. I just want to feel you. I don't want you to feel like this.
It's good to feel something.
It's good to feel something. It is. And I think, it's been nice having some fun adventures and going out and doing stuff. I think we just need to sort of make sure that you're in the right mind space before you get out and do that again. So I think this is all about sort of setting the scene in the right way for you. But anyway, we're going to see how that pans out because who knows? We don't at the moment. Yep. But for this episode, we've brought with us a lovely, lovely guest.
We have.
And he's going to talk to us about being a single guy, being bi, doing all sorts of nonsense. He's going to have all the regular questions. Mrs. H, play that interview thing.
We got something that's just for you! Holy shit, it's an interview!
So joining us today, we have a delightful guest that's come all the way from down the road. Not that far. He's been lurking outside for weeks. I can't back that up in any shape or form. Thank you, Sam, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yay, I wanted to do full Muppet show then. Yay, isn't this amazing? He's here.
I'm here too.
Oh, you're also here. Yes, well, that's good. Well, it would be,
sorry.
It wouldn't be us if you weren't here. Yes, there we go.
I'm glad you said that.
I know. I've managed to coop that back and recall everything and everyone's happy and comfortable.
Yes.
All right,
well do.
Good, thank you. Right, so we've got a whole bunch of questions that we're going to throw towards Sam. And hopefully he's going to give us some amazing answers. No pressure, because the last number of guests have been really cool. And
yes, I noticed. I feel like I need to be on the top of my game.
Well, that's fine. I'm sure you can do it. We feel that you are capable, and we've plied you with a glass of wine that you brought to our house.
Well, I suppose we'll all find out together.
It is a voyage of discovery. So firstly, for our listeners, how would you describe yourself? What do you look like? What do you act like? How are you?
I am a early 40s. I have to say early 40s now, since turning 41. I could just say 40. That was easier. But no, I'm an early 40s guy who is average height, average build, overall average, and constantly get confused for other people. Pretty much every day someone says, do I know you? And no, I just look like everyone you know. Works in my favour sometimes. I am generally fairly confident, like to chat, approach people, as ADHD as hell, and is like the most apparent thing about me the moment you meet me. I'm a singer and performer, so that comes out quite a lot in the way I talk to people and communicate as well. Talk a lot with my hands, which I now have to try not to do so I don't hit the microphone and make loads of noise for you.
Thank you.
So just an enthusiastic, cheerful, kind of energetic guy, really.
Excellent. Do you reckon if Sam grew a beard, he'd look a little bit like me and grew 10 years? Do we have that generic guy look?
I mean, it could work if only I had the capacity to grow a beard.
What celebrity do you get most likened to then?
I've had Paul Bettany before for some reason.
Okay, I can kind of... That's not a terrible one.
No, but it's
could
kind
be
of
worse
niche,
ones.
right?
I mean, I had
right.
Ricky Tomlinson thrown at me a lot.
Oh,
yeah, that wasn't fun.
You must be so happy.
Yeah, I was. And then I had Ricky Gervais for a bit.
Not so bad. I think he's quite nice.
I think that's probably because I laugh at my own jokes, so it's more a voice thing than anything. At least I hope it is.
Yeah, I hope it's not a comment on how awkward you are. That's not.
Yeah, hopefully not. So thank you for describing yourself and sharing that with us. How have you gotten started in this crazy, mad lifestyle
well,
thing?
if he looks like Paul Bettany, probably really well.
Yeah.
You would
done.
think. Not so easy. So, bit of backstory. Growing up as a kid, well, not as a kid, in my early 20s, I was very chaotic and very much enjoyed sex and getting to know people and everything that goes with it, and lots of fun and kink and stuff like that. But then settled down into a very generic, straightforward, quite vanilla relationship for 16 years.
I know the feeling.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ouch.
You do look like Ricky Tomlinson,
Yeah.
It's really coming across now.
It's Ricky Martin.
Yeah, because they look so similar.
They are very comparable.
So now I'm a couple of years removed from that and have started to remember who I was and what kind of lifestyle I'd like to lead. Was kind of broken in by a friend of mine not that long ago. Broken in is the worst choice of phrase, but it's what came out in the moment. And from that point on, I've just realised that actually, I think there's so much more value in a life like this, so much more fun, and have started to explore that with some of the people who you've met recently, and listening through your podcast has been really enlightening for me, actually. So that's kind of where I've started. The first real social I've been to was yours. Haven't been to any clubs recently, although I have one booked in a couple of weekends' time, which is nice. Yeah, so that's kind of how I've got into it. I'm now in the process of trying to work out how to navigate being a single guy into having a relationship or trying to start a relationship with somebody whilst maintaining this part of my life. So that's something that's interesting for me at the moment.
Wow. So I'm going to pick up on a couple of things from this because there's a lot to unpick.
Yeah, sorry, I went on a bit of a rant.
No. I enjoyed it muchly. So you mentioned that you're off to a club soon. Where are you going? Which club are you sampling?
It's in London.
Le Boudoir.
Le Boudoir, yeah, thank you.
Excellent choice. Excellent choice. Good
Because
club.
in terms of London clubs, that's pretty much
the only one.
Well, it probably isn't, but it's the one that is good.
Mm.
Yeah. And when you say London club, you're like, oh yeah, Le Boudoir.
It should be Le Boudoir. That's probably the one to go for.
Yeah, well, that's definitely where we're going. Going up for a nice little theatre trip, and then we'll spend the evening there. Yeah, quite excited about that.
Amazing. And you said you're a single guy. So how would you sort of describe your dynamic as a single guy? What are you looking for?
So I'm a single guy. I am bi. I am romantically interested in women, sexually interested in most people in the nicest way. And I'm looking for another person to kind of share that life with, have the companionship of a relationship, have someone I can spend time with and do things with, but also still want to have the freedom to enjoy this kind of lifestyle together and navigate somehow like how that's going to work for me and someone else.
Relationships are tricky enough as it is sometimes, and adding this whole new sort of aspect to it can be quite a...
Especially the early part of relationships, when you're getting to know somebody, it feels like you have to have quite a lot of secrecy about... You don't start saying, oh, here are people I've played with, or this is what I've done with that person, or this is what I like and I know because I did it with them. and so then to start having some of those conversations and saying, actually, I'd be interested in exploring this, or actually I'd quite like that kind of thing, or maybe we could have this kind of dynamic, is really difficult to do without already knowing the other person's interested in that, which is hard to find out without starting that conversation, which is a never-ending cycle, I think.
And I guess the trick is to meet people already in the lifestyle, potentially?
Yes. And luckily I have found a way to meet quite a lot of people that way through you guys, which has been lovely. And I've made some really nice friends just from the social, to be honest. But that's not always so straightforward. As a single guy, you come into this kind of lifestyle, you go to socials, you meet these groups, and it tends to be couples. So from my perspective, it doesn't seem like there's a huge amount of opportunity to form a relationship with someone as a single guy in that kind of arena. But I don't know, because I'm really new to this, so it's interesting for me to kind of try and find out.
So my next question then would be, if you're seeking a relationship of sorts within this, then you'll very quickly not be a single guy, or would your preference to be still kind of seek experiences as a single guy separate?
There's a lot of smiling going on in the background here.
Yeah.
Where? See, the thing is, for the first time in a long time, I'm having a lot of those single guy experiences that haven't happened for ages. So that's been really eye-opening for me and really enjoyable. And I really now feel like I don't want to let that go, or at least not for a while. So it would be nice to have a relationship. I'm not sure at the moment what the priority is. And I also think, certainly when it comes to forming relationships, you have to take the opportunities that present themselves. So if I meet someone and I see that there's a possibility for a relationship, that comes around less often perhaps than the opportunity to play with someone new or make those kinds of connections. So I don't know. It's hard to know which order to set my priorities at the moment.
So I'm getting a distinct cake and eating it vibe coming across.
Yes.
All of the cake and now, please.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you're bi.
Yeah.
Have you always known that you're bi, or is this something you've discovered later on in life?
It has never been a question. Never been a question.
Well, I just asked that question.
In my life, it never occurred to me not to even think about who I was attracted to, because I just knew if I saw someone I was attracted to them, that was it. I never really had any coming out, never really hid it from anyone. School became a problem because I was quite open about it early on. But I will say, I think there's a very difficult place for bi people, and I would say more for bi men than bi women, that there is a lot of fear, I think, from both sides. Yeah. So men will think, well, you're really straight and you're not sure. Women will think you just haven't fully come out yet. There's a lot of uncertainty from both sides. I think that's less so than it has been for a long time, but I've certainly never had any problem talking about that or being open about it with people. But I have found that that's been difficult for other people more than me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. We've spoken about this in the past, haven't we? With the imbalance that exists around bisexuality generally. And we've often referred to like the assumption that all women in a lifestyle are bi to some extent. And it's, whereas, when you come across a male bi, they're almost met with a bit of, oh, what's going on here? Are you sure? What does this mean?
Yeah, and so you do see people some
but...
kind of boundaries, I think, when it first gets mentioned, but it's never really, I suppose, if that comes up, that's their problem, not mine.
Yeah.
And that's always been my kind of view of it, really.
That's cool. And I suppose as you kind of, if you do sort of find yourself in a couple and you're exploring things as a couple, then you may find different challenges as opposed to being not just a single guy, but the different dynamics as you kind of go forward might present new challenges, I suppose.
Yeah, and that kind of, like you say, the imbalance that I think has been mentioned on previous pods, I think there's a possibility that if I had another partner, they might find it a lot easier to accept me having solo dates or playing with another woman, but perhaps find it much harder if that was with another man. So it's hard to know how to navigate that, but this is all about, are we going to drop the C-bomb already? Communication.
God, it's early, isn't it?
I know, right?
I thought we'd get to at least 50 minutes in, but no.
Kick the back doors of that one in very quickly, I tell you.
But now you don't have to say anything before the whole Room 101 thing. I've got it covered. I've said the thing.
I mean, it's an acceptable thing to mention, I suppose, because communication absolutely is. It's really important when you're just exploring these dynamics anyway. So we'll allow it.
But don't you think it's also really hard to know what not to communicate?
As an oversharer, I have never known when to stop sharing. I mean, for fuck's sake, I'm literally on my podcast oversharing someone else's information, which probably gives you a hint as to my level of sharing. But
no, I'm right there with you.
I think one of the things, because it was quite an interesting conversation, actually. We're going to an event in a few days. Probably will have been to the event by the time this comes out. And we were talking about actually that at what point do you reveal to other people your likes, dislikes and things. And it struck me that actually that level of sort of doing the sales pitch or the elevator speech, the basics of
branding statement kind of.
This is what I like and this is what I don't like. I mean, I think that's really important, but I also recognise that if I'm still talking for 30 minutes about what I like and what I don't like, I have probably overshared too much.
Yes, and also perhaps you're going a little bit too niche.
Yeah, possibly. When I'm sort of ranting about which is the best of the 90s Star Treks, I've probably overstepped the mark.
I'd never ruffle my hair the wrong way. I didn't like that.
Never call me Si. Never call me Si.
And if you make me a cup of tea, it's going to be this colour.
Oh, yeah, there is definitely tea colours. But
you need to set that out almost before name.
Yeah.
This is my preferred tea colour. Hi, I'm Sam.
It's maybe this should be on all of our business cards. Like if you have play cards, tea colour and, sugar, sweetener, whatever, and all that sort of stuff. How you like your coffee if you have coffee, and then
turn over for contact details.
Yes, and for preferred pastries.
Yeah, yep.
Definitely that. Mrs. H, you got a question?
Yes. Not about tea. Okay, so what have you learned about yourself since you've kind of joined this fun hobby? I say hobby, it's not a hobby, is it? But,
I think I've learned that I am potentially more attractive than I thought I was. Having been in the relationship I was in for so long, it did, because it was largely not physical, did give me quite a lot of body image issues and kind of self-confidence issues. And I think I've learned how I can overcome those, and actually the benefits of this lifestyle. It's almost like a compliment just in general that you find that there are more people interested in you than you think. So I think I've found a lot of self-confidence from that, and more I've learned that I can explore my interests with other people if I just share them, and actually more people will be interested in the things I'm interested in than I expect if I'm just not scared to tell people what I want and what I like. Just maybe not for half an hour.
I think it is really important to share a little bit about what you like, particularly if you have play partners that you come back to.
Yeah.
And having those conversations and being sort of, well, I quite like this, or what you did the other day was quite nice.
Little feedback session.
That's quite good. Not so much like where you're sending out a survey and ask them to fill in.
Yeah.
Like fuck advisor. That's probably not such a good thing. I thought it might be helpful.
I'm going to trademark that straight away.
Next question, wife.
Actually, on that, I was just going to add, I think maybe going back quite a bit now, we did a podcast about
everything.
We have
at one point or other.
No, but I think I talked a little bit about the theory of Johari window when we were talking about the sharing of kind of information. I'm not going to bore you all again with it now, but essentially, yes, it's like a psychological, very corporate technique, I suppose, but to invite others to share information about themselves through this series of windows, blind sides. And then in turn, you'll find people are more likely to open up and share bits of them as well. So it's a really lovely concept, and it's obviously been going a long time, but it still stands, doesn't it? If you share something, then someone's going to be more likely to give you a bit of info about themselves as well.
It's really vital, but also I'm sort of slightly nervous of that. You know, when you're in a work situation and it's like reveal something about yourself to the work table, and you know they're going around in a circle, and that is coming to you at one point. Yeah. The nervousness of having to share that bit in front of everyone is
the creeping death.
Yeah, it is. It's like, fuck, and now I'm going to have to say something. And what if the thing that I say is too out there and too cool?
Well, knowing you, it probably is. Yeah,
yeah, probably too cool for the group, like in a work environment. I mean, I guess.
Stop oversharing then.
Maybe.
At 9 o'clock on a Monday morning in a meeting.
I feel like stop oversharing is not really a fair expectation at this point.
Yeah, it's too late for that. There is no putting the demon back into the box. But I remember we went to an event and there was like a massive, like, it almost got a little bit trust circle-y for my tastes. Right. A little bit too close to burning sage. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But it felt everyone went through a whole group of several.
Did you all start crying at one point and hug each other?
No. You were there. This is like an event we went to, like a sexy event.
That event.
Where everyone did their lifestyle elevator pitch.
Oh, where we had to set fire to a bit of paper or something and burn some sage. Yeah, I do remember that.
But it all kind of went to the point where it was so over the top. I'm like, well, I can't even remember what that person said, let alone this person over there. So I think there is an immediacy to the people that you're talking to, but it's good to share that. I'd also like to think, though, if you've got like a small group, that would be a great thing to just go, right, this is like, if you had, I don't know, like 8 or 10 of you and you could just go there, this is what we don't like, this is what we do like. And then it makes that sort of group interaction much more.
No, we have done that. We've good success.
Great success.
Great success. It has been really
Wouldn't
good.
it be easier for you guys to just say, listen to this podcast we recorded on date and go from that point there? And then you know everything you need to know.
I mean, I suppose to this.
It has come back and bitten us when we've talked about things that we like.
Yeah.
It's so that a couple of incidences. One, I said I like women with short hair. That doesn't mean that's the only type of woman that I like.
Do not like women with long hair. Yeah. That's it. No.
Yeah.
He has been known to like women with long hair.
And then I was chatting to a very attractive lady and she was like, well, you wouldn't like me because I've got long hair. And I'm like, but
no, that's not what I said.
That's not what I said, exactly. And then I remember someone was playing with Mrs. H with a vibrator and they were going for a bit of internal stimulation, which is not normally your jam.
No, but it doesn't mean I'm completely rule it out.
But the person that listens to the show literally slapped that vibrator literally out of your fanny.
She won't like that.
She won't like that. And I was like, I'm sure she was, I mean, she was enjoying it at the time.
And also could probably tell you herself.
Right?
Exactly that.
Like, thank you very much for thinking of me, but also it's my own vagina.
But it was based on what they'd heard.
It was the noise.
Stop it. No. But no, it's true. You can overshare because it'll be a detriment if you're not careful.
But I think you're right. If you can, in a safe setting, sometimes that whole fun text flirty chat before you actually go for a date with someone is where a lot of that will come out. And that can be quite fun to get out there. But also there is the risk of oversharing and then being like, oh, this guy's a freak. Like, how far do I go with interests before it gets problematic? I say problematic, hang on, what I mean is...
Maybe it's just light touch. Maybe we need like a template that we can all follow. It's like a basic...
Here's a tick list.
That would be helpful. Or an app where we could do that sensibly. Mrs. H, you've got a question though.
Yeah, I have another one. So what have you learned about other people?
Similar to my last answer, I think, is I've learned that other people can share interests and that there are far more people in this lifestyle than one might expect, which I think is fantastic. And finding out that actually they can cross all walks of life and that you might walk into people that you don't expect, you don't realise that you're going to see again in different settings, which we talked about a bit earlier.
Like some people that live 10 minutes down the road, for example.
Like some people who put addresses into SatNav and go, wait, we live right next to each other. And I also think what I've learned from other people is that sometimes it can be harder to tease out some of that information from other people because they're just as nervous about it as you are. So I've got much more confident about saying the things that I want and like and more comfortable being open about this. But then you start to have that conversation with other people and they can get a bit more nervous sharing their own interests and sharing the things that they want to engage with and engage in. So learning how to help people communicate and share things about themselves to make a more pleasurable experience for all concerned. I think that's been interesting.
That's cool. What have been the challenges, though? What sort of challenges have you faced?
Honestly, early on, some of the challenges I had was remembering how to have sex. It had been such a long time.
That's fair.
I'm assuming you remembered now.
Oh, I think I've got a hang on it. Yeah.
Right.
No, I went pretty much 2 years, which was, they were dark times.
No wonder that right's looking really fucking powerful.
Yes, one really strong forearm.
But God, porn's free, isn't it?
Right? Yeah. Well, now it's the
Completed Pornhub several times.
only thing it's cost me is a selfie.
And some dignity.
Yeah. Dignity? Do you think I have No. Yeah, so I think that has been a challenge and really learning again what I like and exploring and being more. What I've struggled with is a bit of fear and self-confidence issues early on. Also, I have no idea what other people think and feel. I find that really challenging. So I can't tell when other people are attracted to me at all. I need the words or I'm not going to get it. So that's been a challenge as well, because learning how to find that attraction and learning to make that connection again when I've never had to date. It not since I was 20 something, and like online dating is trash. All of that has been an absolute minefield for me to learn again, having not had to worry about it since like 2007 or something.
That's fair. It is an interesting one having to navigate all of that stuff again. And you do kind of, part of this whole thing is that you kind of have to learn to have sex with other people.
Yeah.
Well, we had the same to some extent for you, I guess, because we've 25 years together now. Obviously, we haven't been doing this for all of that time. You know, it's been, 8 years?
Yeah, maybe 9.
9 years. And so when we opened up the relationship and, you know, brought other people in, then for you, it must have been quite, I've really only had you for the last,
Well, also then, when we got together, my body count was
all right.
much, much less.
More respectable.
Much less. So I hadn't really...
This is the wrong audience to say that that's not respectable. The higher the body count, the more respectable, surely.
Quite probably, but young Simon was not equipped to deal with that breakdown at the time. So that when we...
live life, what can I say?
I know.
Correct.
And had a few people living in you, I'm sure, as well.
Ooh, shots fired. Come on.
Well, there probably were a lot of shots fired, I'm sure. But it was,
oh my God.
It was a challenge because I was like, well, Mrs. H has kind of had a lot of life experience and I've had not very much. And now we're kind of going out there. Interestingly, for like some of our first encounters, those women worked wonderfully in the same way that you do, which was great. And I'm like, yes, I am literally a sex god. This is perfect. This is great.
The thing works.
And I'm sure we'll get some more and go, no, you fucking weren't, you idiot. This was awful for me.
Yeah.
But
I was acting the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. But in my mind, it was like, oh, this is how Carolyn works, and I can replicate that, and that's fine. And then I found someone that didn't work in the same way. I was like, what, and how?
Tell me where your buttons are, please.
Yes. Please give me all of the descriptions and all of the knowledge that so that I may play this instrument like a virtuoso.
Yes.
That would be good.
And then that, especially if that happens early on, that can give you some real performance anxiety.
Oh, yeah.
Suddenly.
Yeah.
And that, like you say, that's something I definitely found really challenging. Not necessarily because of immediate feedback, but just because I was like, oh, I've got into this real set routine with someone who really just didn't want to do very much sex in general. So I'm so out of practice. I don't know how.
Yeah.
Like legitimately, the performance anxiety was, I don't know if I really remember how to do this.
How to enjoy it.
Yeah.
If it's any help, we have the Joy of Sex from 1992 on my Plex account.
Super helpful.
That has filled in many an evening.
Perfect.
Yes.
Yeah,
it was,
I'm sure that's
literally
all the information you need
still
to
do
know.
it the same way.
You can be an absolute ledge after watching all those DVDs that are ripped off onto my item.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I watched enough of like Eurotrash to pick up my... People are using tips from Eurotrash, right?
Yes, definitely.
That was a good place to get...
Yeah, that's why we had the French-made cleaners. Yeah.
Well, of course.
Exactly. All of our tips came from television. Of course they did. So, going past all the challenges, what advice would you give to newbies?
In terms of advice for other people, I would just say that I have a mantra that I've given to myself that I'm trying to remind myself and trying to use and learn from. and that is never say no to something out of fear. If the fear that you have about a new experience is stopping you from enjoying it, then that is where you're putting barriers in your way. The only thing that's making you scared of that experience is your own interest in it. So take those barriers away. Don't say no because you aren't sure whether or not you're going to enjoy something. How are you going to know without trying it? Do you know what I mean?
This feels like a setup somehow to me here.
Oh, this isn't. I'm not like.
Wait a minute. I've been saying this to him for years.
Yeah, I mean, I promise you. No.
What was in that wine?
Nothing. If you're starting to feel things, that's just natural. No.
It's definitely not chloroform. No.
No. It's been a long time since I've roofied anyone. No. So what I mean is, I don't mean, oh, here's this weird, exotic new thing that I've never tried. Here's some crazy kink that someone else says they have, so I'm just going to go with it. I mean, if you feel like there's something that you want to do, but you're scared of having that conversation with someone to make it happen, if there's someone that you want to approach and you have this fear of approaching them, that fear is only going to limit your experiences and the fun that you can have. So don't say no to yourself through fear. Try and take that away from the interaction, because sometimes overcoming that initial bit of fear is what gives you the most excitement and gets you the most like fulfilling experience and fulfilling connection with someone.
No, I agree.
Schrodinger's cat.
Well, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And you miss 100% the shots you don't shoot. No Fear, 1992. It is that kind of stuff. And I think...
Open the box.
Is the cat alive or dead? Well, unless you open the box, you won't know.
Now we've got Brad Pitt yelling, "What's in the box?"
You mean you didn't have before? Constantly?
All the time.
All the time. Good. I think this is one of the things that crops up a lot for us. And we get a lot of messages with people sort of saying, how do I get my partner into this? How do I talk to them about it? I want to try this type of thing with them, or I want to try that type of thing. Ultimately, it comes down to communication, as we've said, which is really important.
You said the thing again.
We just said the thing, and but also it's that kind of, if you don't ask, then you're never going to know.
No.
And you may need to think about how you ask, because that's important.
Yeah.
Like bring it up over Sunday roast in front of the kids and grandma, probably not the best.
Oh, and that's taken a lot of practice as well. That's the thing, is I don't know how you approach people. I don't know how you do that. I haven't had to for so long. So yeah, you're right. You do have to think about how you're going to bring that up.
Yeah.
You don't just walk over to someone and say, hey, what do you like in the bedroom? My name is Sam. I know that because it hasn't worked for me so far. No, you have to consider the communication style and consider when you bring these things up. But also, if you just think, do you want to go back in 5 years' time and think, oh, I never asked them that question. Maybe we could have had this wonderful time together. Maybe this could have happened, but now I have these regrets because of fear.
Yeah, and we've done that over the years, and I think there's been people that we probably would have played with or wanted to play with, and we've come away going, oh, we didn't ask them, or we didn't check the understanding.
Yeah,
and that's really vital. I do wonder if there's something though to going to an event with a checklist, like a clipboard and a checklist. Yeah. And I know one particular lady that's probably liking the idea of that, of like a list of questions that you can ask people and survey them and get that information and sort of...
Science.
Yeah, for science, but also for bedroom nonsense.
Then also just like wear a name badge with the tick list on. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, we have been to events where we've had like colour coded.
Yeah, there's like traffic light parties,
traffic lights and necklaces. If you're into this, isn't it?
Necklace thing got so endlessly complicated, like 10 different colours, and it was also covering the kinks that you like, and whether you're a couple or whether you play separately. And I was like, this is just so many. I needed an app to tell me, and in which case we might as well have just put everyone on an app with their likes and dislikes, and they could have gone, right, I'm number 3 on the list.
It sounds like a Black Mirror episode.
Probably.
It does, yeah.
I mean, the whole idea of Black Mirror is it takes something that I like and destroys it and go, hey, I like that idea.
That's so dramatic.
And that's the end of it. You don't like that anymore. It's going to fuck you up.
Yeah. Hey, do you remember that time you enjoyed it? Well, this experience you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I do think there can be some fun to the idea of just having that list and it just being out there in the open, and the idea that you don't have to approach it. You don't have to ask those questions. But also, how much fun is that conversation?
Well,
how exciting is that?
When you get that conversation right, great. Or when you've gone over the hill of how do I ask this and sort this out, and the terrifying social interaction moment.
Yeah.
But this is when you need the game lifestyle cards.
They are very useful.
They
But
are
I think once
super useful.
I think
if
once-
you're really, really nervous about striking up conversations about certain things and you really want to be able to do it but in a fun way, actually they're really good. They're an icebreaker.
It
you
feels-
don't have to go all the way into like the 3-level ones.
So there's two sets of cards, right? There's the conversation starters, and then there's the naughty like action type stuff, right? The conversation starters for me are fun in a group setting, but they do feel a little bit like Monty Python and the Meaning of Life. And it's like, hey dear, what are we going to talk about? This one says philosophy. And it's kind of, but I get why it's helpful. And I get it. It just feels a little bit.
Well, it takes the pressure off, I think, the person asking the question that it's not necessarily their question. So you're not getting judged for the type of question you're asking. It's just, it's what the card says.
Yeah, so I have found this card on the floor that I've brought up to you. And do you like rimming? Yes or no? By the way, my name is Simon. Hello, how are you doing?
Yeah.
Lovely to meet you.
I think one of the risks of that, though, is that in a group setting, someone gets out one of those cards, asks a question about people's interests, someone says they like something, everyone gets the impression they like that a lot more than they meant, and then suddenly that's their thing. And that's all that happens for them for the next 3 years. No, it just happened to be the question that was asked at the time. I don't know what.
I think they're good, as a little starting point, though, if you are genuinely struggling to find a way into a conversation.
I suppose the point of them is that they open the conversation and then it carries on without the cards after it overcomes that confidence hurdle. So that's a really positive thing. But then I still think getting to be able to get people to open up about those conversations is a really exciting thing, and one of the things that I'm finding the most fun now.
I think we've kind of found that this stumbling over it and making a joke of it approach is quite we all know this is awkward, but we're going to put our big boy pants on and we're going to ask
take our big boy pants off.
Yes. Well, put them on so that we can ask the questions so that we can take them off.
Exactly.
In that sort of roundabout way. And it is tricky, and sometimes the environment feels like you're putting yourself out on a bit of a pedestal, but you have to do that, because if you don't, then you're always going to live with the regret over the fact that you didn't. So you do have to kind of stumble over yourself. It feels, I often think of it like the Hugh Grant moment. The gosh, wow, is this sexy times? Is this on the table today? And what sort do you like? How do you feel about that? Gosh, wow. And but it is that tumbling of But I think it's important to recognise that lots of people feel awkward about that whole process, and it's okay to be awkward over it, because it's more important to have the conversation than to not. I think.
Oh yeah,
possibly.
Sure. Definitely better to have a conversation. Because then you really are going in blind, aren't you?
Yeah.
You could be really messing it up.
Talking of messing it up there, you've got your favourite question.
Oh, he knows what's coming.
I'm sorry.
Oh, God.
You did wipe your seat before you sat down, right?
No, I saw and I just sat.
Okay.
It's fine.
It's my Room 101 question.
Okie dokie.
I love Room 101. So yeah, if you could bin off one thing, let's say from a lifestyle then, so far in your encounters, and you could chuck it in Room 101 and banish it, what would it be?
I had an answer in my head already, but I feel like I've spoken about it for about 20 minutes. My initial answer was going to be basically the fear.
The fear.
That feeling that stops you from being able to move forward in the conversation.
Yeah.
But we have that covered. So the other thing that I was thinking of saying about the lifestyle, and something else that I would want to put in Room 101, is just preparation. Like having to make sure that I've got all the right toys in the right places, and that I remember that I've got enough condoms and it's the right type and they're in the right place and I know how to reach them, and even afterwards, like, okay, did I remember to put the sex blanket down so that I don't have to change all of my bedding? Did all of the peripheral stuff? It would be lovely if there could just be sex mates. I feel like maybe that exists, and if it doesn't, then I need to start a business. But then I also don't think I want to do that.
You want a team of people to do it for you.
Yeah, very much so.
But not do it yourself.
Yeah.
I like all great ideas.
So yeah, really, I think it would be lovely to be able to take away that horrible feeling of regret for having not had that conversation, or the feeling like you can't say something you want to. That's the main thing I'd love to take away, so that you can just get to that lovely fun buzz and excitement of all the things that you're going to do together, and all the fun that you want to have together, and gets you much closer to the good bit.
The good bit.
The good bit.
And we need to find a maintenance firm that will come around and like tidy up for you after
Yeah, I'll speak to the cleaner, see what she can do. I mean, she's seen some shit anyway. And so
I got a new cleaner a couple of weeks ago, and they were coming on the Tuesday. So the Monday night, you do that thing where you clean for the cleaner. Because of course
no, I've never done. No,
other people do that too.
It's a tidy for the cleaner. I can understand.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So trying to tidy everything away, and then I got a text to say, "I'm really sorry, something's come up. We can't make it today." I was like, "Okay, fine." And then I had a last-minute surprise visitor that night, and then they texted and said that they'd come the first thing Wednesday morning, and I just got up and I was going to be late for work, and I was like, "I best get out of here." And I don't want to even describe the state of my bedroom. That this new cleaner who had never been to my house before came in, and I had to send a very apologetic text to say, "I've paid you, and also I just wanted to say I didn't know you were going to be there, and I'm really sorry about the state that I left the bedroom, and if there's anything you saw that made you uncomfortable, I can understand if you don't want to come back." And I was like groveling, and they're like, "No, don't worry about it, it's fine, no big deal." Oh, thank God.
They've just taken pictures and sent it to the mates.
Yeah.
I mean, 100%.
As long as they can make money out of it, it's fine with me.
You must see some stuff.
Yeah.
You must see some stuff that raised your eyebrows a few times.
But it was pretty unfortunate.
Oh, you're pre-tidy for the cleaner.
But that's the prep I want to get rid of. But then also, I didn't tell them that that's what they'd be cleaning. That's the issue.
Yeah, well, that's.
I mean, kind of want to know what you did now. Like, what on earth?
No, you don't.
Crime scene. This is terrible.
I mean, to be fair, I think we've woken up in some rooms that have literally looked like a fucking crime scene. And I think the worst one that I have in my head when I think of carnage the next day is the yurt. When we drank. Like we've been out to a party, and I think we covered it. It's been on the podcast, but we drank a bottle of port when we returned. And
port stains, it turns out,
doesn't it?
That there was just condoms everywhere. There was just it was hot as like, and it was like that didn't add to the atmosphere in the slightest.
And we had to clean it up ourselves.
Yeah,
because we had no cleaner there.
No, but also what made it even worse is that there were children playing around outside a tent, running around, screaming and yelling. So not our children, but like, kids on the campsite, and it was just like this.
Look around and you're like, oh, look at all this like debauchery everywhere, whilst also hearing children giggle. This is not
with a hangover.
Yeah,
I mean, we had the hangover, not the kids.
And then one of the Chuckle Brothers died, which was one of your main.
That was so.
It was then. And
I woke everyone up in the yurt and said, "Oh my God, Barry Chuckle's dead." Obviously, people were like, "But what happened in here?"
And then it's the way our friend turned to me and went, "Did we have sex last night?" I was like,
have a look around. What do you think?
A lot. There was a lot of sex going on. And and I'm so glad that we've all forgotten it. Often an unforgettable experience. So let's talk about memorable experiences then. Look at that seamless link. It's only seamless, I will point out. Thank you. What would be your ideal date?
So I love food. Really love food. Really love good food and drinks. Love cooking for people. I think the ideal date for me would be to have someone to come round. I can cook for them because I love to do that. And then go out somewhere for cocktails, get nice and dressed up. I love to get dressed up and like feel nice about that. But I think the ideal date is always one that ends up at home.
Okay.
Hotels are lovely, but when you're at home, it's just different, isn't it? It doesn't have to be that flashy. The ideal date can sometimes be the most comfortable one. But doing something nice and romantic, that nice shared meal, cooking for someone, like really enjoying sharing that food, then taking some time away to let the food go down.
Yeah, important.
Right?
Yeah.
Having a couple of nice drinks, having a nice environment, and then having the excitement build as you come home and get rid of all those fancy clothes.
Yeah, I think that sounds pretty good. It sparked a memory of us going to... And I'll name a local place that you may or may not know. So we went to the Porter's Steakhouse.
Oh, yeah, you did.
We did. With some lovely friends. And we consumed our weight in meat.
We had a meat coma.
And that has its effects, doesn't it?
It really does. And we walked pretty much from... And this is going to be very, very local. Yeah. From Porter's all the way past St. Mary's in an attempt to walk off... the meat sweats that we had obtained. Yeah. But I think we had killed one of our friends. We think we we pushed them over the edge
There
with
was a lot of
the
meat.
pure
Of the bridge? What do you mean?
Well, no, just in pure meat that was
Yeah.
eaten. And there was
greed.
I think
combined greed of like eating a nice food because it was big food.
it was glorious, and
And it sits, doesn't it?
it didn't move. That thing was
No.
going nowhere.
And you can't really have steak without a nice bottle of red wine.
Oh,
and a
God,
nice,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
all
all
the
the accoutrements,
potatoes.
yeah.
and
Yeah,
the-
I mean it was
yeah.
delicious.
Of course.
It was.
But then we were like,
then
none of us
Still
can
full
move.
4 days later.
Yeah, 6 days later, I could
Yeah.
still taste steak. It was like fucking hell.
Mm.
But it does remind me of that sort of like going a bit too heavy into the food, and not giving it time to settle. We've had some amusing food challenges from eating
really
too
have.
spicy food and having some.
Oh, that's a problem.
Yeah, that didn't work out.
No.
That was another
I can
faux
think
pas.
of several problems that might come with that.
Yeah.
First of all, there's
All of them happen, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. I might not
Not
list
all of them.
We're
Not
here
all
to
of
make
them.
the mistakes and tell you about them.
I can
So
assure
you
you,
don't have to.
not all of the disasters that could happen happened, but
Good,
enough
okay.
enough of them happened that do like maybe going for spicy Thai food before during a date is not
Just
the best
thinking
idea.
when someone's got spicy food remnants in their mouth.
Well, that's
Yes.
also an issue, but
Yeah, the
That's
old
going to cause some sensations.
there is the occasional fun times where we're just playing it, and I hear this. Have you been? Do we have chilies today? I'm like,
Yeah.
yes.
you've been having chilies. Yeah.
Shall I use my right hand? Much safer. So, thank you for the ideal date there. That sounds marvellous. We look forward to being fed around your place at some point. Do you have a question for us?
I do. The question really comes back to what I was saying early on, and it's trying to understand you sort of said already that perhaps just finding someone that you already know is in the lifestyle, if that's not possible, and if I'm trying to open up this conversation with someone who's not necessarily in this lifestyle, how do you think you'd approach that? So, like, if I'm perhaps trying to form a new relationship with somebody who is less familiar with this,
So,
how might you approach that?
so there's the patented Carolyn telling people by leaving the Game of Lifestyle cards on the side.
Yeah, that'll pretty much give the game away.
Well, does strike up an interesting conversation.
Yeah. So,
Not
the ideal way to do it. There's the, hey, look at this television program that that is on tonight. I saw this. It's so, for example, like Open House being on Channel 4 at the moment is a relatively easy win. It's a bit naughty. Hey, let's watch something naughty and use it as a conversation starter.
Kind of have a lever.
Yeah, I'm a big.
or the blogs. You can find blogs and written things that we've heard in the past somehow. Secret Stag opened up a conversation to Secret Vixen in the past by leaving some telling internet history.
Well,
on display,
but then
maybe.
his converting factor was a late. I know the story that well. Was a late night conversation where he said any man would be lucky to have you, and she went, "Well, what do you mean by that's a weird?"
Don't you already have me?
Yeah, which opened up the conversation. I think you can trail it that way.
Also, I suppose if I go and pick them up and I happen to have a podcast playing on the car,
Yeah.
Oh
Wait,
no,
what
what's
is
this thing?
Yeah, what is this?
Oh no, I can't
mysterious?
switch it off.
And we know people that have done that.
yeah,
I think so. We kind of went down a route of looking at various media that was sort of associated. So polyamory documentary, like saucy Channel 4 programs that sometimes
World cinema.
World cinema,
Good old world
Yeah.
cinema.
saved our relationship more than once.
Good old French film.
Yeah, I think those sort of inspirational moments where you kind of go, oh, that's a bit naughty. And particularly if it involves other people, it does give you an easy doorway into that. You can also, what we've done is just go to a restaurant, have a few drinks and just go, so what turns you on? And I feel
safe space kind of thing,
Yeah.
It
I don't know
doesn't
why
matter if it never happens.
Yeah.
It's just more of a, if you could do anything hypothetically,
well, I think
here's my trail of breadcrumbs, I'm going to leave here and let's see where this conversation goes.
and I suppose if you can say, "Hey, what kind of music do you like? What's your favorite movie? What kind of sex do you enjoy? Why aren't they the same? What are we doing?"
Yeah, normalise it.
I think for some people who have, I think if you put yourself in a situation like yourself where you hadn't had sex for a while, having that conversation is a lot more challenging. So I think there is a framing that probably needs to happen.
Yeah, I recognise I'm in a very different place now.
Yeah, of course. I think, I remember us going to an Italian restaurant in town. No longer exists, sadly. It was a lovely little place. And we just literally got ourselves a couple of bottles of wine and just had a conversation about turn-ons and what we found attractive and what was nice and what was hot. And it kind of naturally led from there. The wine was a wonderful lubricator for that conversation, but also creating a space where we were just together and no one else was interrupting us, with the weird exception of the waiter who was hanging around a little bit too much and getting a little bit too much information. It was, I think, for us,
couple further steps back, please. Just a couple more steps.
Hands out your pockets. But that was a real good way for us to sort of establish that. Also, it helped that the first conversation that we ever had was like you announcing that you were bi was like pretty much the second thing that she ever said to me.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Yeah. So I think
I was brave.
You were brave.
Yes.
Well done.
Well,
You
yeah.
could have like gone for the hills, I guess.
Well, I stood that, and not a problem for current Simon, not realizing quite how much of a mental breakdown future Simon could have over this whole situation. But I think there's those ways. There's the just being honest and saying that you'd like to explore something, but also kind of being able to answer some of those questions about it.
Yeah.
Because I think it's great saying, oh, yeah, I'd love to, I don't know, like people would, say, for example, you're like, I really want to try hot wifing, right?
Yeah.
And you kind of go, right, I really want to do it. And that person probably has a ton of questions about what the fuck is that about? What does it mean?
Yeah.
And if you have at least some of the answers, either you've done a bit of research or you can go, I have a book or a TV show or a piece of information that will help.
Or even just sharing reels on Instagram, something like that. Just being able to say, here's some real short information for you to get an idea. And yeah, like if you suggest something or you want to talk about something and then you can't clearly or eloquently explain what you mean, well, it's never going to work out.
Yeah. I think there are some ways that probably don't work as well, like the just leaving someone a letter feels like it's going to be open to disaster.
Yeah.
And I think we have a tendency to avoid conversation in modern life, and we text everything, and I'm not sure it's the best.
Everything's too distant.
It is. And I think for that type of conversation, you probably want to look someone in the eye and have that chat.
Sitting across the table with a couple of bottles of wine to lubricate the conversation is a great way to do it.
Yeah. And I think, and you can't always expect the conversation to go the right way. You have to be prepared for someone to go, no, I'm not interested in that.
What do you mean?
I'm
not doing that.
Yeah. And I think you may need to let it percolate. They may need to think it over, and they may change their mind. They may come back to it, and they may go, you know what, I thought about it and it's definitely a no. And then you have to either make decisions on the relationship or how things are going to work. But there's definitely a way to frame it that's nicer than just hoiking it out there and waiting, wait for the kids to leave the bedroom and, set a scene to have a proper conversation rather than just trying to chuck it in and, make time for it, I guess.
God, those fish and chips were great, weren't they? Anyway, I was thinking I'd like to see you get railed by someone. No, that's not.
And
see a bottle of wine.
The other thing, and I've heard of people trying to do this that I absolutely do not recommend, is trying to set something up without telling your partner.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, come on. No.
Honestly, we've had people write to us like, hey, like, could you just turn up to a hotel and fuck my wife? I'm like, no. I
think there are laws, right?
Yeah, I mean, she doesn't know anything about it. But if you could just come on to her, and then if she just slept with you, that would give us no. This is bad and wrong and awful. And there are awful human beings out there that think that that's okay. That is not cool.
Yeah. That's couldn't be further from okay.
Yeah, and don't turn up to, like, for example, a social of ours without having discussed it with your partner, because also not a great way to do it.
Everyone's so friendly here.
Yeah. I remember we met a couple years ago, and she was so nervous. She was really shaking, really but she at least knew what she was going into.
Yeah.
So, like, I get that people will have various degrees of nervousness and worry about it, but they have to know what they're signing up for.
Yeah, and I think there is also the risk that there's people who go along because they feel that's what they need to do, and there's going to be nerves behind that as well. But being new to this and having gone to the social that you guys have run and seen the community and been in a Discord chat and everything, it's so much more supportive and so much safer isn't the word, that's not what I mean, but more of an open and honest community, because everything is kind of out in the open and everyone talks about everything anyway in a really positive way, that it seems like you probably don't get as much of that, or as much as some people might think.
The other thing is to have conversations with people about it. And so, once you've had that initial chat with your partner, go and actually find out together. And you don't have to dive in and be fucking people the next 24 hours. You can literally go and sign up to a site or whatever and just talk, just be part of the forums and just explore it. Because going from 0 to 100 works for some people, but for a lot of people, it fucking breaks them and chews them and spits them out. So I think that's a useful topic. Mrs. H, you're looking whimsically towards the distance. What's going on?
Am I?
Are you about to drop us a truth bomb, or are you just...
I mean, there's nothing radically new to add to any of the things that you've said, other than I think my preference, but that's mainly because of the way I like to communicate, I said it, would be around watching something that would lead to a conversation, more kind of evolve in a organic way.
Okay.
So I think I remember, back to our earlier days when we would, grab a bottle of wine and, just curl up together and watch something like a bit of erotic world cinema. I remember that was often a much easier way into having open conversations with each other, because it naturally led to kind of a sexier kind of conversation anyway, didn't it?
What worries me now is that you now make me watch a lot of horror films. So.
No, I mean, a lot of the good French films we used to watch often featured threesomes or, women being brought into relationships and things that naturally I was drawn to. And it seemed a very natural thing then to kind of, hypothetically talk about what would that look like if we did that? Do you ever think about that? Is that ever something that features in a fantasy? And it can just be a fantasy. Let's just talk about a fantasy. And even talk about fantasies is hot.
Yeah, and if you're watching something like that together, then you can kind of gauge what the other person is like, even just whilst you're watching it together.
Yeah.
You can kind of tell how much they're interested in it, and then it makes the conversation so much easier. That's a really good idea.
Wanking you off good, turning TV off bad.
Right, literally recoiling. Oh, okay, maybe we'll stop that. But it is quite a natural, organic way, I think, of opening a conversation that you just don't know how to frame, because you've got, the narrative unfolding in front of you that will hopefully lead you into a conversation quite easily. I think that would be my preference anyway. And I think that's where I've had the most success with, managing my own nerves maybe.
And yet somehow playing Anal Masters 7 again and again and again has not inspired anything at all. So rounding things up, I just want to say a huge, huge thank you to Sam for coming along and being on the show. You've been absolutely lovely and a delight. And you didn't need to roofie me at all in the wine. It was fine. I managed to sail through it. Oh, okay. I dread to think what's
you have about 6 minutes.
You don't know what's coming, believe me.
So he only has about 6 minutes, in which case.
I've ordered a cleaner, don't worry.
Excellent. You're so well prepared. No, thank you so much for having me. It's really nice of you to have come over and got little old me involved. So I really appreciate it. And nice to get to come around and see your house and meet little Meg and meet your pets and stuff like that. It feels real weird.
Search him. He looks like he might have stolen some comic books.
Meg has always wanted to meet Paul Bettany, to be fair, so she's really excited.
So if people do want to find you out in the world, is there a place where they should look? Are you on Swing Hub, Fab, anything like that, or are you keeping quiet for now?
I'm not currently on any of those. The only thing that I'm really on is your Discord, but I am in the process of setting up profiles, which I'll share in the Discord when I do, but I'm not currently so out there yet.
No worries at all. Well, if people have questions, get hold of us and we'll sling them your way and we'll get back to you. We'll be the in-between guys, the go-to men.
You can, come to our house and find them there.
Yeah, I'd probably get here faster than I'd answer a text.
That's quite true. Well, thanks very much for joining us. Wife, do you want to do your thing?
Well, thank you for hopping into our bed.
a huge thank you to Sam for coming on to the show. It was an absolute pleasure chatting to him, and I only feel vaguely roofied. So that's definitely a benefit. Mrs. H, did you enjoy that interview?
Yes, I did. And you'll never know who roofied you.
I'll never be able to tell which one of the two of you it was.
No.
Now, we obviously joke about roofing, but it's very dangerous and no one should try that sort of thing. Anyway, but what I will say is it was really nice getting to know Sam. Actually, we saw him at our event. He came along to our Birmingham event and we were able to chat to him very, very briefly, but not actually get to know him. So it was a real pleasure to sort of sit down, have a good old natter, share a glass of wine or two, and then kick him out. So we've got a podcast out of it.
Yeah,
ideal,
exactly
right?
That.
Yeah. So without further ado, Mrs. H, do your thing.
Thank you for hopping into our bed.